fellas. I am just now waking up. Today is Friday, February 27th. I woke up feeling a little bit down today, just from some of the recent situations that have taken place in life. And I wish I could kind of like go into detail because I've been really tripping over some stuff that I usually don't trip over. And I know it's just due to my current situation I'm in right now. And I'm kind of trying my best to just let it go, but I'm really struggling to just let it go. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put a sermon on the TV just to kind of get me some spiritual food and kind of get me in the right state of mind and just let me know that, things are gonna be okay. I'm definitely putting too much thought into the situation to where it's, just keeping me up at night. It's really interesting just seeing when you quote unquote hit rock bottom. I'm being extremely facetious when I use that term because my life could be way worse. Just kind of losing your independence like I have, losing your financial situation the way I have. It's interesting just how your confidence kind of changes when you don't have that stuff anymore. How you start to just trip and just let your ego and emotions and just everything really get the best of you the way you usually wouldn't. Because I know the me from 2, 3 years ago could care less about a situation like this taking place. But I'm gonna put a sermon on the TV real quick just to get the morning started. I'll let you guys know what I learned.
Then the same scribes and Pharisees, another group of them that he's arguing with, answered him, saying, Teacher, we wish to see a sign.
So I don't even know what kind of video that was because it didn't even finish the whole sermon. But basically, some of the things I did take a sorry, still waking up. But one of the things I did take away from that message was how you have to be able to still love God and still know that He's there for you, even when He's not answering your prayers, even when you do lose a job, even when you do lose a loved one, even when all of these things that you don't want to happen. You still have to show up and you still have to love him and you have to understand that he's not a performative God. So just because you ask him for something that you want doesn't mean that it's going to come true. And so a lot of people get frustrated and they say, well, I've asked God for a sign and he didn't give me none. That's not necessarily true. It's just sometimes the things that we want don't align with things that God wants for us. And that is something that really holds weight in my own life right now because I know there's certain things that I want that God is saying no to. And one other thing I like that he mentioned too is he said God has to be like your focal point. Like you have to be able to rely on him when you have nothing because or else your foundation is built shaky like on who you are as a person. And I'll be the first person to admit that my foundation is shaky. My foundation was 100% built on the type of income I had, the type of stability I had, the type of woman I had, all of these things. It wasn't built on God. Now, God was included in that. Don't get me wrong. I've always been a believer. I've always gone to church on Sundays, but how I was living Monday through Saturday wasn't really right. Not that I was doing anything wrong, but I was still living in the world. Even now, I'd like to say that I've improved a lot from how I used to be, but who's to say that if I was to get everything back tomorrow, maybe I'd be back in the world again tomorrow? I don't know. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'm going through this season to learn what it's really like to put God number one and not look for Him to perform miracles because I definitely have asked Him myself to show me a sign just to let me know I'm on the right track. And I've been dealt with a lot of disappointment still. One thing that I've been struggling with a lot lately is isolation. I'm someone, if you follow my other YouTube channel, I actually made a lot of videos about living life alone. And I used to be okay with that, maybe because I never really felt like I was alone. Like for a lot of those videos, I still was in a relationship. It was just a long distance relationship. And even in the times I was single, I still was probably like talking to some girl like on a regular basis. So I was never really alone. If I'm being honest, I would say this is the first time I've been alone. I've been alone for basically 8 months now. It's been hard having to go through being completely alone and losing everything in your life as well. So I'm going through two different things right now. I'm going through one, just being isolated and just having to deal with loneliness, being in the middle of nowhere in a whole different state, my life going in the complete opposite direction of where I had planned for it to go. But then also, I'm having to deal with the fact that since my ego was built on the wrong ideas, my ego is basically broken now. So because my ego is broken now, I I'm searching for different things to kind of fill that void that I have because my brain, my body is not used to the and I hate using the feelings word so much, but it's not used to the feelings and emotions and just the brokenness that I feel inside of me. These are all brand new things that I've never went through, or maybe I did go through it, but I thought that I had built myself up so much to where I'd never have to go through feeling this way again. And I'll be the first to tell y'all, it's weird, bro. It's not something that just going to the gym can fix. It's not something that just going on semen retention can fix, which are all things that I'm doing. I'm about to hit 90 days on semen retention actually very, very soon. But the process isn't a quick fix. And sometimes I look to self improvement to just fix my problems. Okay, if I hurry up and get a new job, this problem will be fixed. Or if I hurry up and get a tenant in the crib, this problem will be fixed. Or if I'm able to start back dating again, this problem will be fixed. The real problem is really just having the foundation built on God moving forward instead of having it built on these material items that I have right now or that I want. And so that's what I have to work through myself personally. I've reached a point where my brain has forgotten the wins that I've taken since it's been a few years now. And wins, again, I'm saying it from a superficial level because the first win, obviously, is I'm alive. I woke up today. I have food to eat. I have a roof over my head. I have a mom and a dad who are alive. Those are all wins. But on the superficial level, since I've gone through an identity crisis, I've gone through losing a relationship, I've gone through losing a house, I've gone through financial issues where my income has basically been cut in half, but my overhead is still extremely high. All of those things are like replaying in a loop, so it's hard for me to break the cycles. I'm subconsciously like manifesting my life to stay the same or to be reinforced by the same wounds or issues because I keep trying to go back to the past or have things from the past like come back to the present. I don't know how to explain it in the right way, but it's like I'm too scared of what the new life holds for me that in some type of way I'm still trying to attach to things from my old life, but the things that I'm trying to attach to are like no, like you can't attach to me. So that puts me back in a state where I'm just like, man, like where do I go? Like it's still just me and I'm trying so hard to get out of this situation. It's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy loop. I wish I could give y'all like more specific details into what I'm trying to say and like what's actually going on. I just don't think it's the right time for that. But yeah, man, it's like an internal battle that I'm just facing on a regular basis and I'm just trying to figure out how I could break that battle. All right, y'all. I think it's a great time to read chapter 2 of Reality Transurfing. The first chapter from yesterday was based on awakening and basically understanding that we're in control of our reality and we can actually choose to create the reality it is that we actually want and stop living by being programmed by what the world is doing. I think number 2 is going to discuss that in more detail. So, chapter 2 is titled Hacking the Dream. The principle says, right now, embrace the awareness that your life is a game which you have been pushed into playing. While you are mentally engrossed in the game, you can't objectively evaluate a situation or influence the course of events in any significant way. So, first come down into the audience hall, take a good, calm look at everything around you, and say to yourself, in this moment, I am fully awake and aware of where I am, what is happening, what I am doing, and why. Then walk back onto the stage and continue playing your role while remaining the witness. Like any other member of the audience, now you have a huge advantage: awareness. You have hacked the game and acquired the ability to control it. Here's the interpretation piece. When you dream, you are at the mercy of circumstance. The rational mind sleeps and accepts everything at face value, as if everything were unfolding as it should. Waking life is pretty much the same. You might tend to think that reality is something that exists independently and that you are powerless to influence it. You are mostly resigned to your lot, the set of capabilities given to you and the conditions of the environment in which you have to exist. All you can do is go with the flow that of fate from time to time, making minor attempts to assert your rights. Is it really possible to change things? Too right it is. And you will. Until now, you have probably perceived reality as you were taught to. Now, be aware that the reality is like a dream. You can only control the situation through lucid dreaming. On stage, everyone is playing a role and all the actors are interacting with you in one way or another. They might expect something of you,
make impositions, requests, and demands. They may help, obstruct, love, or hate you. Look at the game consciously from a distance and then you will understand it all. Dang, that's tough, bro. Look at the game consciously from a distance and then you will understand it all. That last sentence, I think, resembles just everything in life that a lot of us are going through because it's a battle, but we get so caught up in the daily wins and losses of life that we don't always look at what the bigger picture is. I know for me, dang, it's hard to see the bigger picture, especially when you've been in a season, like it says, reality, you've been in a reality of not being in control or not being aware to the extent that you need to. And that's definitely been something that I've been struggling with because I've been of the thought that, dang, if I take the loss or if this doesn't happen the way I want to, or if this isn't working, like I'm failing, not realizing that there's a bigger picture at play. I'm just not aware enough or conscious enough to see it. So, what I take away from this chapter is how can I start being aware in every single moment that I'm in? Meaning, how can I think? How can I do a better job when I'm faced with confrontation or when I'm faced with a situation that isn't easy for me? How can I take a step back, think for a second, realize that this is a game? This person is a part of the game. This person is a part of the game. How can I make the right decision, the smart decision to win the game and start shifting my reality and looking at things from that way? How can I start doing a better job maybe of playing offense instead of playing defense so much? That's kind of what I take away from that chapter. And I have to have that same mindset because maybe if I saw the bigger picture, maybe I'd be a lot more consistent with posting on YouTube. I wouldn't let the fact that I don't get a lot of views on my main channel or subs or whatever the case may be. Maybe I wouldn't let that stuff get to me that much if I knew the bigger picture, or losing the crib and being back at home. Maybe I wouldn't trip so much if I knew the bigger picture was me getting a new apartment or a new house in a whole nother city, way better than the one I had before. When you're just stuck in the middle, like when you're stuck going through the game yourself, it's hard to really look at things that way. I hope I'm kind of making sense, but that's what I took away from that chapter. You guys can let me know if you felt anything different, but I did just want to share that with y'all. And if I have anything else going on today, I'll tap it with y'all. Otherwise, I might just see y'all tomorrow. Peace.